So today we're talking to Sage Harper with Apollo LLC Consulting, which is a marketing agency. Sage will tell you a little more about himself in a second, but thank you guys for joining us today and hope you guys enjoy the video. So Sage, tell us more about you and your business and what kind of clients you work with.
Hi, Drew. So first, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Taking time out of your busy schedule to feature someone like me. We're a, we're a marketing agency that really specializes. Well, first off, there's tons of marketing agencies. And as we know, digital marketing is just really broad.
Yeah.
So for us, our specialties or our things that we really concentrate on, our market advantage, is we do a really good job of helping businesses show up when people are searching for their services. And so all of our services are really catered around getting a website more traffic, better engagement on the website, and ultimately get the phone to ring more, better conversions. So those are the kind of things that we all kind of cater a lot of our services around.
Nice. Great. So tell me more about yourself, kind of your background, what your history is and what you've been doing for the last, 5-10 years.
Yeah. So my background is actually not in marketing at all. It's in satellite communications. So I was one of those that when I graduated high school, I tried college for a little while and it just wasn't right for me. I needed to get out there. I needed to, I don't know. I always tell people I was like the rebel, but I was like the rebel, like without a cause. So I needed something. So I joined the Army, and when I tested, I was fortunate enough that they let me pick whatever job I wanted to. And I went into satellite communications. So I did 6 years in the Army, went overseas, went to a lot of amazing places. And when I got out, I continued on as a contractor for another 14 years. So almost 20 years total. I was doing satellite communications. And ultimately, my last job was a completely civilian job. So I had decided to leave the government side behind me and let my top secret expire and let all those kind of clearance stuff go away. And I went completely civilian, just thinking, hey, maybe something new would help keep that spark going. And honestly, it's just it was just tough. It was just tough doing the same thing for so long. It was just interesting. It wasn't. I didn't have the passion for it anymore. So what I decided I wanted to do is sort of find a field where I could take a lot of my service-based experience, some of my program management or experience, and come up with something that I could start from small and just sort of gradually built up. So I started Apollo Marketing, and Apollo Marketing is a culmination of a lot of what my family was to me growing up, and sort of like my wife and my kids, and sort of where we are. And so for Apollo Marketing, I honestly, my mom had a business when we were younger, and unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I was there when we opened the doors. I helped a tremendous amount. Even when I was in the Army, when I was on leave, I would work days in her shop and try to help her out. So like it really was that family business. And I was also there when we had to close the doors. And that was rough. That was totally rough. So I'm very empathetic towards the plight of a small business, because it is very, very difficult. And like the more you understand, like it is that roller coaster of a journey where you're like just wait 5 minutes and you'll be on a high, and then another 5 minutes later, all of a sudden you get an email and there's a client that's upset over something. You're like, whoa, where did they come up with that? And but they're still right, of course. Yeah. They're still, but there's just like, it's quite that journey. It's that roller coaster. So as not, I want to say as an adult, but as my second sort of career in life, I decided I want to go into something where I can help that journey and help it be more success to our clients. And we have a variety of clients that we help, everything from just consulting every month to rebuilding websites and building beautiful custom websites. Some of our clients are freaking amazing, and some of our brands that we built are just really, really, really cool. And then we help them on a monthly basis for a lot of our clients too, and help them showing up better in search and hopefully get more traffic to their website and get their phone to ring more.
That's awesome, man. I mean, and that's, what you described exactly with the small businesses, the roller coaster. I mean, I'm sure people are feeling that right now, more than ever.
Yeah, of course. I find there's a lot of people sort of like all over the place with like their hair on fire, sort of like, what do I do? And they're just sort of pivoting almost like 2 or 3 times within a day of where they want to take their business, what they want to look like, what they want to do. And I know you're seeing that too, especially as a business coach, where you're sort of being that calm, in that calm when there's a whole bunch of chaos all over the place. And it's challenging.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, And the whole hair and fire thing, sometimes it's a reality and sometimes it's just a perception, right? So, and it's a matter of kind of helping them focus and figure out what, as I'm sure you do, helping them focus on what is going to give them the most bang for the buck and what's really going to help them move forward, as opposed to just freaking out and staying stagnant, which is really declining essentially. So yeah, no,
Yeah. In today's
it's
time,
awesome.
I find there's a lot of businesses that are, I don't want to say there's a lot, but there's two sides of that spectrum. There's the business that is completely just almost just absent at the wheel and say, okay, when all this blows over, I'm ready to go. And there's that business that's working really hard to say, okay, let me work on my business during this time. Let me work on who I am. Let me work on what value I bring. Let me work on my service offerings. Let me work on all those kind of things. And let me try to build better relationships with some of my customers as well, and keep that top of mind awareness. So both of these businesses, either side of the spectrum, they're going to get very, very different results as people start to spend more and more money, which people are spending money right now. People don't realize that.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at that. What's that old case study with Procter and Gamble, right? That I think Casey talks about that a lot in the whole Procter and Gamble thing, but it's legitimate, right? I mean, it's where during the last recession, a lot of companies pulled back and didn't market at all, right? And they chose like, okay, we're going to conserve everything, and that's not wrong, right? It's just their mentality. But Procter and Gamble doubled down, right? They doubled their marketing budget, and then they ended up surviving that and actually thriving through it. And now they're one of the biggest companies in the world in terms of the products they provide, because of that double down back then, where they took the effort to say, look, people they still need stuff, they still are buying stuff, they're still looking for certain things. What can we do to make sure that they know that we're still here, right? And
Yeah,
that's
I
huge.
tell businesses, if you're not at least setting up retargeting, where just your website is just showing up on people's feeds, on people's Facebook feeds when they're scrolling through, at least retargeting, you can set up for like $1 a day. So $30 in a month is how much you're spending. But that little bit will keep that top of mind awareness for those people and make sure that you don't just sort of get lost. Because some of these businesses, like you look at the majority of small businesses, majority of new business that comes in is referral based business, right?
Yep.
And it's that top of mind awareness. So those companies that are maintaining that top of mind and spend that little bit of money on there, and some of them are spending bigger budgets, of course, but some of us just don't have that kind of budget. But those who aren't doing at least the minimum, they run the risk that when people do start spending, that they're just not in the forefront of people's mind enough that they go, oh yeah, I remember Bob, he's awesome. Let me see if Bob can do X for me. And if they don't remember that, then they're going to look for someone else, and who knows who it is.
Right. So that's a good segue, actually. So what can businesses do right now, right? What can people be doing marketing wise for their small business, on a minimum level to keep things going, to keep the lights on, but then looking a little higher on the higher level to be like, let's escalate, try to push forward and really hit the ground running when this thing clears up.
Yeah, that's great. So I'd say twofold approach. I'd say one, like I just talked about for retargeting, making sure that your messaging is still getting out there. So all these businesses, I'm sure we have an email list, whether it's in a spreadsheet or we have to go back to our sent box and just start hand plucking emails over, or we have people that are more sophisticated and have CRMs. At least put stuff out there to sort of be that maybe like this lighthouse, or be something of that beacon where there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, and give that value to your clients. So what I mean by that is this: is say you're an HVAC company. Okay, people might not be buying HVAC systems from you right now. However, they're going through very real things with their family, maybe their home, maybe all sorts of different things. There's still value that you can bring to them. All right. Even if it's just valued as that, hey, Hogan was on the news again yesterday. For those of you who miss it, here's a link to all the synopsis of what he said. Why not? So you're giving value and you're just strengthening that relationship and being that person for other people. So what I tell people is like, that's your biggest thing. All right. Start a group, or just check up to people, or just call some of your past clients and just say, hey, this isn't a sales call or anything. I'm legitimately just calling. How are you? All right. Check into people and just show that you really care. Be authentic. All right. And just think of building that relationship up. And at the same time, like I said, that retargeting or emails or drip campaigns that you can do just every now and then, just keep giving something of value, and keep those relationships solid. Because there are a lot of people, like a lot of businesses that are, like I said, they're going around with their hair on fire and they're trying to sell, even though there might not be a lot of money moving around necessarily for their field. Maybe there is, but necessarily for the industry. But when you're getting that pushy right then, it just comes off from that wrong feeling. And people will put their wall up very quickly because they see that. They're like, oh my gosh, like, dude, we got a lot of things going on right now. Just slow your roll.
Yeah.
Did that
So
answer your question?
yeah, no, absolutely. And so you mentioned something, a concept that I think most people are familiar with, but some people might not be familiar with, and that's a drip campaign. Do you want to say a little more about that and what that is, and how it works?
Yeah. So first, we're not content marketers, so we don't really focus on drip campaigns. But what a drip campaign is if you think about it, is you're trying to drip value. And a lot of times people do that via email, and that's what they set up. So what they'll do is on some kind of semi-recurring basis, whether it's like a monthly newsletter or something, they'll put out emails for what's going on. And the reason we call them drip campaigns is, again, it's not like a really pushy sales thing. Those things are just spammy, and you're gonna have, as soon as you're too spammy, they're gonna start marking your email spam, and then you run the risk of your whole email not even getting people because it's just sort of been flagged as a spam email. All right. But what you're doing is just putting out an email at some kind of reoccurrence. Some businesses do it every week. Some businesses are doing it every other week. Some businesses are doing just once a month, but that's it. It's just some kind of recurring, I should say, tempo that you as the business owner can afford to put time into. And it's just putting something out there to say, hey, here's some things that are going on, or here's some value that can help you out with, or hey, did you hear about this, this, and this? And it's something that's out there. And ultimately, it's not to say like, hey, we're still here, we're offering this incentives or this and this kind of stuff. You can actually, within those things, every now and then just put one of those messages that are in there. But it's really the drip campaigns. The reason you call them drip is you're trying to drip that value, and you're trying to drip those sales every little bit on there without being too spammy. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew where you're coming from with that, because
Of
some
course.
people are not, some people, like I said, some people are more familiar with the marketing terminology than others, and I think that's useful for some folks to find out about that. So as things are opening up slowly, how do folks kind of hit the ground running and really kind of focus, double down on their marketing once things, because some places are already open, some states, some counties, that kind of thing, are already open and already kind of fully kind of trying to do business. So how do they try to get things back to normal, or pivot themselves, right?
Yeah. So some of the advice that we're giving businesses is take this time to work on your service offerings in general. And what I mean by that is I'm actually telling people, if they can, start to steer away from your service offerings. Again, I'm going to go back to that HVAC company. So HVAC company typically does a repair or replace. That's kind of it, right? There's some other things in the middle that they do, or they'll do like some checkups, and they'll try to get people on a checkup plan. But what if you can go ahead, instead of just getting people on just one kind of thing, say, hey, right now during COVID, we're having people sign up for a 3-year plan, pay nothing now. You don't pay until your 6-month mark. And at your 6-month mark, we're going to start coming out every 6 months to do this, this, and this. And then sell it for super, super cheap. I mean, like, it should be like a loss leader, like, or maybe just enough to cover gas or cover some of that paycheck. And, or don't make any money on it. Just do just enough where it's $100. So people are paying for something, and they got 3 years of someone coming in and checking their stuff on a house. The reason why that's valuable is that's 6 touch points with a client that you didn't have before. All right. And that's 6 opportunities of maybe something start to not work. All right. And when you look at the life of an HVAC system, maybe you set it for 4 years, maybe you set it for whatever, but it's you getting that much closer to being at the right place at the right time. And that's more of like that omnipresent. So you're there when they need you. And plus you've already built that trust that you need. And so like maybe you're a roofing company, like set up, like people are calling these things tune-ups, and say, I'll be a tune-up for $100. Instead of just saying, I'll come out and replace every tile on your roof, we're going to say, we're going to do $100 a month, or excuse me, $100 a year contract, to where every year you set up this agreement, and we'll come out at 6-month mark and a year mark. So again, every 6 months, and we'll replace shingles that are up there and tiles that are up there, or whatever you want to call them, like asphalt shingles, right? And in case that something does happen, then you're there to do the roof replacement. So all these kind of things, I'd say, like, the more that you could sort of rearrange your services where you get more touch points, where you're getting around your customer more, where you're building that better relationship, I think that's ultimately going to help you in the long run. So if you have a business out there where you think, okay, what kind of value can I give? Even for you, like as a coaching thing, say, hey, what I'll do is, as a coaching offering, I'll go ahead and set up our 90-day coaching system, to where I'll go ahead and do 90 days worth of coaching and set that up path, and you only pay on the 90th day. Now that's at risk to you, but what you're doing then is you're giving someone so much more value at a time where people might not have the money. You're investing in them which shows that you really care about that business, which is going to resonate so well with that business to say, man, I could really use a Drew. I could really use some help on this one. And even if you're not selling it for a huge amount, but you really look at it, maybe it's not a huge amount of your time. All right. Then ultimately, as you finish with that 90 days, you're at least going to have that karma. You're at least going to have that something on there where you can say, hey, if all else fails, it's okay that you don't do any further. Right. Maybe give me a great review or just something out of it, just to say, hey, let's try to, do something. I don't know. Try to get some kind of something out of it. And ultimately, when you tell businesses too, when you tell people too, it's like, hey, if we're not a good fit after this amount of time, that's okay too. So at least people understand. I think people are going to be a little bit more reluctant to spend money. They're going to want to do it where a value that it's so crystal clear for them. And ultimately, they're going to make smart decisions that they feel is going to help their business the most. And so the more that we can just change our service offerings to just specific solutions that solve X, Y, and Z problems, or we're there to help solve those problems in the future, I think it's going to give you that much more revenue long term.
That's a great idea. That's awesome, man. I love that. I mean, especially the delivering value thing up front, because folks are, like you said, folks are looking for value right now. They're not looking to spend a lot of money. And then the areas that they're looking to spend a lot of money, they're just looking to kind of clamp down because they don't know what the future is going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and something for you as a coach, you think about it. If you set up like a 90-day program, it's not going to monopolize your time. Maybe you're only spending 1 hour per week, or maybe you're spending like half an hour per week or something like that. So it's not a huge investment on your time, but because you're an expert, it's going to be that much great value for that person. All right. Or for whoever's receiving that. And that's where it really comes down to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, actually, nice to learn that idea from you. We'll see.
Happy to help.
Yeah, but no, I mean, but essentially, for the HVAC example, or for the, for the roof example, that's awesome, because it's essentially you're having the customer pay you for marketing, essentially, because you're getting the touch point with them, and you're able to market with them so you're top of mind. So like, oh, my HVAC system needs servicing. Oh wait, I already have a service contract with this guy. Let me call them. Or that company that I already know about does roofing.
Yeah.
There's a problem with the roof. Let's give them a call and see what they can do. And then you're already there. You're already on site, right? That's just fantastic. Cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah. If I were a home service company, you know what I would be doing, to tell you the truth, is I would be teaming up with every single handyman I can find.
Yeah.
Because I think handymans are going to be more in demand than ever before, because they're going to be the ones that they want for those small jobs. And ultimately, if it becomes a bigger job that's outside of the wheelhouse of that handyman, that's where you're going to get some great referrals. So I would say, okay, Mr. Handyman, what can I do to help give you value for your customers? And I would give the handyman all these wonderful value-added things that they can do. And next time a handyman's doing something with the garage or something wherever else, you're going to listen for those other things that are going on, and then you can get some great referrals there. So again, it's about strengthening relationships, not only with your customers, but again, with people that are in your sphere of influence, or people that are what we would call like someone who can help be a referral partner for you.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that people are spending more time than ever at home now, right? So they can't ignore the stuff that's wrong at home anymore that they were ignoring for whatever, because they spend 28, 30 hours, in 2 days at work.
Yeah.
They're home all the time. So they have to deal with these things, right?
Yes. Yeah. So people now are finding like, hey, my business needs help with this. My home needs help with this. My kids. And so, I mean, those problem statements are there. If you can help with people and give them a low barrier of entry to help start to solve some of those problems, you can have your upsells later. You can have your other things later. But if you can help people get past some of these hurdles that they're facing in this new world, it's just going to pay you 10 times later.
Absolutely. That's great, man. That's gold, actually. I mean, anyone listening to this does not pay attention, replay this video and watch that part again, because that was awesome. So as we're wrapping up here, I'm respectful of your time. What are some closing thoughts you want to leave folks with right now?
I don't know. We hit on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
I think those businesses that are taking the time to identify who they are, and when I say who they are, is realistically, it's your business as a culture. And then take the time, is once you identify who that business is as a culture, make sure that you're messaging everywhere, on your website, on your LinkedIn profile, on your Facebook pages, even on your outreach when you do communicate with people. Make sure that all of your messaging reflects that culture. Because I think ultimately there's two things. It's that differentiators of the culture, because people like to do business with someone based on that person or that individual, right? And a business that has this funky culture or some kind of culture that resonates with that person, that's a good thing, all right? So don't be general, be who you are. right? Your website should just bleed of who you are, not bleed, but you know what I mean? Like jump out is like what kind of person you are, what kind of business you guys are. All right.
Yeah.
And then the second thing is stop selling. All right. Just be that problem solver for people. And once you think of that and you think of everything that you're saying in the mindset of the person who has the problem, the more that you're there to solve problems, the more that you're there again to be that beacon with a whole world of craziness. So I think the more that we do that in general, the more that it's going to help propel you long term. So take this time to just use your time wisely. There's some really cool things that people are doing and to help set themselves apart from the masses of different businesses. And I can't wait to see these people 6 months, 1 year, 2 years from now, because they're going to make some waves. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that goes back to what you said earlier, which is be authentic, right?
Absolutely.
Just, be authentic with what you are and who you are, what your culture is. So
absolutely, we all, even when we're competitors, even when we're exact competitors, we all bring something slightly different to the table. And it's not the generics. We can't all have the best pricing. We can't all have the best customer service. We can't all say, oh, we got 40 years of experience. Does anyone really care? But if you can resonate with a person and their problems that they're having and be that solution for that person, they're going to be that much more likely to say, yeah, I'll listen to what you have to say.
Awesome. Great stuff, man. That's great. Sage, so how do people get in touch with you if they want to reach out with questions or if they want to contact you about business?
Yeah, so our website is Apollo Marketing, and the URL is Apollo, APOLLO, LLC.org. And you can also find us. I've set up a community mastermind group. We currently are meeting on Tuesdays and Fridays. I think at the end of this month, we're going to switch maybe to just Fridays. It's 4 to 5 on a Friday afternoon. And it's been really great way to sort of have businesses come in and say, okay, and I say community mastermind. So it's what kind of problems are you having? What kind of struggles are you facing? Or what kind of hurdles are, in front of you? And what kind of success are you having? Because success leaves clues. So why not share that with other people? And someone might say, oh my gosh, that was a brilliant idea. I need to do that too. And It's just bringing people together just to talk about those. And I'm not the one with all the answers, but as a community and as, the strength of the people in the group, it's been really, really helpful. And I have some people that are like, this is like the perfect meeting to, end the whole week, because if I have any struggles or anything that's been weighing on me, I can help get a little bit of clarity. And then I go on the weekend with just sort of a clear mind, and in that meeting on a great note. So we have that as well. That's called the No Agenda Business Chat. You can find us on Facebook. And if you want more information, you can actually sort of email me through the website and I can give you information on that.
Cool. I'll put all the contact information in the description below so if folks have that, but just want to give you a chance to, let them know what to do. So everyone that we're talking today with Sage Harper, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Sage, reach out to me, leave a comment below. If you like the video, hit like and hit subscribe and hit the bell if you want to get notified of future videos. Thanks again and see you next time.